Welcome to the Mythic Mic Podcast. Now, here are your hosts.
Okay, hi guys. I'm Sara, and I am a co-host for the Mythic Mic Podcast. And my other co-host, who is off screen, can you hear me, Bethany, at least for this part?
Yes.
Okay, so that's Bethany Corbin. She's also my co-host for the Mythic Mic Podcast. And here today we have
First.
Hi, I'm Ben Grange.
I'm Lauren Grange, and we are from Books on the Grange on Instagram and our website, and 3030 now.
Yes, I'm so excited to hear about 3030. I just signed up to it literally.
Yay, that's great.
Yes. So this is our author segment. It is a new segment that we started that is purely for authors and writers to give them resources and advice and tips about the industry and what it takes to get a full novel published traditionally or otherwise. So thank you so much again for coming on, and I'm so excited to learn more about you guys and what you guys have been involved in. So let's get it started.
Great.
So tell us a little bit about yourselves and your experience in the industry.
Okay, so I have been officially in book publishing for the last 13-ish years, but I also worked as a librarian for 4 years before that. So been in the book world for a long time. In the book publishing world, I've worked in editorial, production editorial, which is production management, project management for books. That's where I've spent the bulk of my time. And I'm also a freelance copy editor. And at HarperCollins, Amazon Publishing, and now Books on the Grange.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, Ben, tell me.
All right. I have also been in the publishing industry for over 13 years. I started at a small press as a publisher's assistant or publishing intern assistant. And I did about 8 internships during undergrad. And then I went to New York, where I became a literary agent's assistant. I was in that role for a couple of years and then moved over to the L. Perkins agency, where I became a senior literary agent. I worked with about 20 authors and sold work to all of the major publishing houses in the United States for those clients. And one of my proudest achievements as an agent is this book right here.
Yeah.
Right here. This book, Brownstone, is a graphic novel written by Samuel Tier, who is my former client. And it won the Prince Award earlier this year, which is a huge honor to have been a part of. So yeah, I worked as an agent for about 7 years. Then I moved to work at Kindle Direct Publishing at Amazon. And then I was a book reviewer / editor for the Amazon Book Review for a year. And now I'm at Books on the Grange.
Amazing. Impressive. Like,
it's been a long journey.
Yeah. We've been here for a while.
Yeah, that's an incredible resume. I'll tell you. You guys are amazing. I was so happy to know you guys and just to get your information from Books on the Grange. So it's just, you guys are a treasure to the community.
Thank you.
So what's your favorite part of the industry to work in and why?
Well, this is tough. My favorite part about being in book publishing is the people. Most of us are introverts as writers. We like to sit at home and imagine that we are conversing with people. When in reality, we are hallucinating. And most of us don't get out a lot. I mean, personally, I sit in my office downstairs for most of the day every day. And my favorite part is being able to go and meet people in real life and go to book conferences, conventions, and meetups, write-ins, and just talk to people about book publishing. That's one of my favorite things.
And my favorite thing is honestly the stories, like also people. I'm an extrovert, so we have this dynamic where he doesn't want to leave and I always want to leave. But I really love getting into the stories and seeing the worlds that all of these authors create. I dabble in writing, but it's still astounding to me at what people are able to come up with, the magic systems, or even just like the depth of emotion that you can convey in some typed letters on a page is incredible to me.
Yes, I am also an extrovert, so I agree. I was like, I like to be outside amongst people when I write. And that's why I'm so much looking forward to what you guys have in store later, because the community, that's going to be fun. I would say, what has been the most difficult or unexpected obstacle you faced in the publishing industry?
A rejection. That is the most difficult obstacle for me because I started off in this industry because I wanted to be a writer. And in the early days of my career, I wrote all the time. I was writing pretty much whenever I wasn't working. And also, I apologize. There's like a lawnmower outside. So
It's
you
not
can
in our
hear
house
that.
even. It's next door.
It's
I was
really.
like, oh, it must be the computer. It's like a hum. It's like
Oh, God. I'm sorry. Anyway, hopefully that goes away. But as an early writer, oh my gosh, this is so
just
anyway, as an early professional in this industry, I wrote all the time and I sent in query letters and I submitted books for publication and I was flooded with rejection. And then I became an agent and I did that for all of my clients. And so when you're an agent and you represent 20 clients, it's like being a writer but times 20. You get that many more rejections. And it just is really hard because this is a subjective business and so much of it is driven by what one person likes at any given time. And that means a lot of rejection is going to come. And it's incredibly hard to get through. So that for me is one of the hardest aspects of this business.
And for me, I think it's like the money capitalism aspect. Like that's
Yeah.
the reality of our industry. And especially when we're working in it, like it's our full-time job to be part of the industry, which means that whether you're acquiring books and you don't have the budget because someone above you tells you don't have the budget, or we would love to champion a book, but like we just don't have the bandwidth because we can't pay more people. Or also the reality of working in publishing is the salaries are really low, like way
Really?
lower than they should be, especially when the majority of the industry is in New York City. And when you're trying to get like not an entry-level job, we're talking mid-level job, and they're only paying you $55,000 a year to live in New York City, it's not sustainable. And so you have to have drive to do something on the side. Like it's a very large reality of the publishing industry that everybody is working extra hours or a second job because it is that expensive to live where you need to be to do the work. You know, we got lucky. I don't know if that's the right word. And we moved to Seattle to work for Amazon, but now we're still here and still trying to live in Seattle. That's not that much less expensive than New York City and, has some of the same challenges.
Yeah. And it's interesting how those two kind of connect, like capitalism and rejection.
Yeah.
This is kind of why the rejection rates are so crazy, is because the money that goes into it is a large part of those decision-making processes. So yeah, that definitely sucks. And
We
yeah,
don't
New York,
want it.
55 for New York. That's ridiculous. That's
Painful.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
nearly impossible.
Yeah.
when we moved to New York, the first job that I had paid me $20,000 a year.
And mine paid me $35.
So there you
And we
go.
were married. What was we were
Dual income family, barely making $55,000 a year.
living in a
Oh my
one-bedroom apartment with our at the time 1.5
Yeah.
year old sleeping in our walk-in closet because that's what we could afford. Yeah. That's the reality.
Well, you guys are moving up. That's what I say.
We have definitely moved up from where we were before.
That's great. Okay, just to go into the roles and processes, tell us a little bit about your Instagram, Books on the Grange. Why did you start it? What type of insights do you offer for writers and readers there?
Why did we start it?
You tell that story.
Well, like I said before, I am also a writer. And earlier last year, I submitted my book to a handful of agents and I was offered representation from Gwen Beal and Ariel Fredman at the United Talent Agency. In one of our early conversations, they recommended that I start social media. I'm really bad at social media, and Lauren is really good at social media. And so I was just like, I'm not gonna do social media. I can't do that. It's not how my brain works. And so I told Lauren that that's what my agents asked me to do, and she was like, let's do a joint Instagram account where we talk about the books industry. And I was like, I can do that. I can do that. So over the next several months, we tried to do Instagram, and it wasn't. It was hard. It was really hard. We had to reframe our
We had to find our niche.
Yes, we had to find our niche, and we had to learn how to make videos.
Yeah.
We had never really done that before, so that's the reason why we started it. And we started it because, unfortunately, part of this business, if you want to be a writer, publishers rely on writers to sell books, which is really weird because you sign over a lot of your rights and financial potential to publishers so that they will sell your books for you. But a publisher knows that if an author has a large platform, that author can then go sell books and they don't have to do a lot of marketing themselves. Or, sometimes it can play into what the publisher's marketing plans are. But publishers are notorious for not giving everybody equal marketing budgets. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the general idea from my agents was start talking about books, start building a books space online where you can grow a community of people who would maybe be interested in buying a book for you someday. So that was the reason why we started it.
And I have a background in marketing, in fact. So it's also just like, I love Instagram. Like, I enjoy social media. So it's kind of easy for me, but I also really enjoy human psychology. As I mentioned, I'm an extrovert and I like people. Also kind of have undiagnosed ADHD. So I feel like I'm one of those chameleons who can kind of like figure out what people want. And so I'm usually good at noticing the trends. And as we kind of figured out, yeah, we're not just a typical bookstagram where we're sharing book recs, which, we're always reading and I have plenty of books to recommend if you'd like them. We kind of discovered, the things that are most impactful for our community is the education, because we have so much knowledge about the publishing industry from our different sides that we've worked in that we can share. And of course, writers are very interested in the agenting side that Ben has a lot of know-how and experience in, and I can kind of talk about the inside of what's going on in the publishing houses because I've sat in on so many acquisitions meetings and production meetings about covers and what we're doing with editorial and all the stakeholders that I've worked with in the past. So it's been a growth trajectory. We went from, I think we had 3,000 followers in March and we now have 23,000. So, it's been fun to see what really connects with people and build this community and start building writing challenges so that we can connect more with the folks that matter most to us. I mean, publishing industry wouldn't exist without readers and without the authors who are putting pen to paper.
Yeah. I remember when I first saw you guys, it was like 1,000, I think, at the time. And I looked back and I was like, dang, they blew up. And I was like, I'm not surprised. Like, you guys are amazing. And I also am really surprised that you're like, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm like, you guys look like
honestly, like
you guys had like a whole thing.
Those first videos of us driving in the car were just like, I saw people making videos in their car and I was like, hey, we drive. We can make videos in the car.
Which, those had lots of good information in them. But the way that Instagram works and social media works is like, unless you have a hook, unless you're like engaging people and looking at them and, you've got to figure out the right transitions for things, which we were building on. So you can go back and watch some of those old videos. Instagram's removed sound from some of them, which is super fun.
Yeah, you won't get any info from them because you can't hear them.
But we're working on, revamping some of those so we can share that info again.
Yeah, they were great. I loved them back in the day. You're oldies. That's what it is.
We missed the conversation once. That's what we want to get back to some of those.
Looking forward to it. For those of you who are unfamiliar with you, can you tell us about the types of services you guys offer?
Yeah. Ben?
Yeah, so I offer a range of services. I am currently at Books on the Grange. I primarily do developmental edits for aspiring authors or for indie authors. And I also do book coaching. Currently, I'm running a writing course where once a week I meet with a handful of people and walk them through my process for how I approach writing a book, coaching them through plot, character, setting development, as well as how to build a conflict in a story. And aside from developmental edits and coaching, I also help people with writing query letters. So if you need help writing a query letter, if you are looking for a literary agent, I do a lot of query letter reviews. So we've helped a handful of people refine their query letters well enough to land a literary agent even. Yeah, those are the things that I do.
And I primarily in my side gig, so I do have another full-time job that's not Books on the Grange, working for an editing and content creation company as a production manager. Then on the side, I'm a copy editor currently for freelancing for HarperCollins and Penguin Random House. Occasionally take on indie authors if you reach out to me and we get it set up. But my bread and butter, I would say, for my freelance is my old coworkers at the big houses who send me work.
It's great.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is.
yeah, both of you are amazing. And one day I hope to be able to take your courses, Ben, and
Thank you.
I would love to pick your brain, Lauren, about marketing because although I found my way into marketing some weird way with the bookish community, I have no idea what I'm doing now that I am here. I'm like, they're like, oh, you're great at this, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
You make the most beautiful pictures. Like, you could sell anything to me when it looks so pretty.
I was like, here you go, just take it. But how do you usually discover new authors or projects through like queries, networking, referrals, or elsewhere? How do you typically find new authors to work with?
I mean, they find us, really. I use a handful of like freelance sites that feed people to me from like they find my profile and they'll reach out and express interest in working with me. But honestly, most of the people that I work with are people who have found us through Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you guys are great. You're doing good work. See, that says you guys are doing great. What do you wish writers understood better about the like editorial agencying process?
And it's not personal. Like, I hate to say that, but it's true. Like, so much about this industry is chance and finding the right person, the right publishing house, the right agent at the right time for whatever trend is trending, or for whenever their budgets hit. Like, Ben's had some conversations even personally for like projects that he would like to publish in the future, and they'll say, we really love this, but our budget isn't there right now. Talk to us in a year. No, like when you're going to hit in their cycles of publishing. Or even for agents, like they might only have 1 to 2 new slots open on their rosters because they're already working with a list of clients. So when they get 3,000 query letters when they open for queries, it's not that your query isn't great. It's that you're competing against 3,000 people for 1 to 2 slots. And you just have to keep trying over and over again. And it's painful and it's hard, but it doesn't mean that your story or you personally as a writer don't have worth and aren't telling something important.
I would also like just add to that I do talk about how much rejection sucks quite often, but I also like to emphasize that the only people who ever make it past that stage are the people who keep writing. Like, you can't let rejection stop you from doing something that you love just because at that moment it wasn't accepted. The only way to overcome that rejection is to keep writing. And that's me saying that as somebody who is still yet unpublished, I don't know, 15 years later, right? But I also have 11 books under my belt that made me into the writer that I am now. And I can go out, and if I want to write a book, I can sit down and I can write a really good book. And it just depends on if the market wants that book right now or not.
Thanks. That's great to hear. Powering through. Well, it's like I'm in a writing group on Instagram, and so many of them feel the rejection process, and they're still pushing through. They're like, well, I'm going to indie. I'll just publish then anyways. Like, screw it. But I'm going to keep writing and I'm going to keep pushing forward. And I think that's just so important because I have yet to experience that because I haven't got, like, I'm still writing. But it's so daunting. You know, you're afraid of it. You see it coming and you're like, oh gosh. But seeing, like, hearing your guys' perspective about it, I'm just like, okay, I got this. Like, you know, so I'm excited for all our viewers to hear it as well because I know it's one of the major things they need to hear. Definitely. So
Yeah.
I have a little bit more time. So I definitely want to talk to you guys about your version of NaNoWriMo. Like, you
Yeah.
guys have been talking about it here and there on Instagram, and I'm just really excited for you guys to let everybody know what is it about, what's happening.
I'm repping our old merch from our June version, which was kind of like a ad hoc. We're going to just do this. Like, we're just going to see who wants to write with us.
Well, earlier in the year, after NaNoWriMo shut down, we had a conversation. We were like, what's going to happen next, right?
Yeah.
What is everybody going to do? And we were like, well, I mean, we're small. We were very small at the time. Like Lauren said, I think we had like 3,000 followers in March, April time. And we were like, well, maybe we could start building something, even though we were really small. And then we started to gain a lot more traction on Instagram. And in May, Lauren was like, let's do it now. And I was like, it's not November yet. She's like, let's just do it now. Let's try it out and see what happens. And so, yeah, she was the spearhead for 30K in 30 days, which was the first version of our writing challenge that happened in June, where the goal was to write 30,000 words in 30 days. Basically just write 1,000 words every day and you'll have 30,000 words by the end of the month.
And now Ben has grown it to something more official because that's what Ben does. He's good at growing things.
Well, go ahead. You go.
Just over the last few months, Ben also has a very talented family. His brother is a web developer.
He's a software engineer.
Software engineer who also develops websites and creates them. And then his sister is a professional graphic designer. So together, the three of them have built this very beautiful website to be essentially an upgrade of NaNoWriMo that doesn't look like it's from the 90s. And that will have all of the things that we loved about NaNoWriMo. NaNoWriMo was what got me writing for the first time. In 2019, I wrote my first novel because of NaNoWriMo. And so we just want to be able to give that back, create that space again for people who are looking for motivation that they can't find on their own. That was me. And now we have this beautiful site.
We do, yeah. But also just adding on to what Lauren said there, she started writing because of NaNoWriMo, and I had been writing for a long time, but because of the rejection, because of how much it was draining me, I stopped writing for like 5 years, and I didn't write anything until 2 years ago. I picked up writing again because of NaNoWriMo. Lauren was doing it, and I was like, I like writing. I like writing. I love writing stories. I don't like trying to get them published, but I like writing. And so I was like, I'll just write a book for my kid and see if he likes it. And I'll use NaNoWriMo as the impetus for that. So I wrote a whole novel during NaNoWriMo. I wrote like 70,000 words during NaNoWriMo.
He also cheated and started before November.
It was like 5 days. Well, you're allowed to start before NaNoWriMo.
Anyway, so now we have 30-30. 30-30 is a slightly smaller goal to write 30,000 words in 30 days instead of 50,000, because that is 50,000 is hard. 1,000 a day feels really achievable after doing 50,000 in a month, especially like if you get behind and you need to catch up. Like it's not impossible to do.
But we also have tools on the site to help you achieve that 1,000 word goal every day. Like we have built in writing sprints. When we did 30K in 30 days in June, we tried to host like Instagram lives where we would run writing sprints every day. And that was extremely hard. But we've built in a tool on the website that literally starts a writing sprint every single day. And the goal is to write 500 words in 30 minutes. And if you can do that, you will write 1,000 words every single day. Write that 500 words for a writing sprint, go off and write 500 words on your own, and you'll have that 1,000 words every single day. But we've built in lots of other great tools that I wished that NaNoWriMo had, and including friend groups, writing groups. You can use it like a social media platform almost, and build virtual groups as well as in-person groups. Like NaNoWriMo was an amazing tool for getting people to meet up together in person. We've got similar tools like that on the site as well. But yeah, it's there for everybody who wants to write in November still.
Yes. What we're also aiming for is to actually run it 4 times a year. So that the goal is, you can't, 30,000 is not a whole novel, right? 50,000 was not a whole novel unless you're writing a middle grade. So the goal is, this is 4 times a year. So if you start now in November by February, and then we have another one in June, May.
February, May, August, and November.
There you go.
Once every season, essentially.
So if you start now in November and then hit the other challenges during the year, you'll have 120,000 words, which means that's definitely a full novel for what the industry is looking for right now. But also gives you time in between so you don't feel like you're pouring your entire life into writing this book, that you can take breaks, you can take time to edit, or even just to prioritize other things, because we know when you're pouring so much creativity into your project in a short span of time, you can burn out too. So this gives you space to do those other things and come back to your story refreshed with new eyes and continue to create what you want to put out in the world.
Wow, that's amazing. I love 30K by 30K, the one you did in June. And I had so much life stuff that month that I was like, I'm not going to be able to finish. But because you guys were doing the writing sprints on lives and on the Discord, I was like, I'm competitive.
It does, right?
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to beat everyone every time I get on. And my husband was like, that's not the point. I was like, it is the point.
But you did an excellent job. I mean, every single writing sprint we held, I feel like you were either first or second place in terms of word count.
And
So
writing
Oh,
like 900 words in 20 minutes was wild, Sarah. I don't
yeah.
know if you did that.
But one of the big reasons why we decided to do this was because we know how hard it is to write a novel in isolation. We know that like finding the motivation to write a book by yourself with no community support, it's really hard. And having a built-in community like NaNoWriMo pushed so many people to write their books. And that's what we want to continue to offer to people. Come join us at 30k.com. That is THIRTY30k.com.
I'm so excited. I signed up today, so I can't wait to join you guys. And knowing that it's seasonal, that's amazing. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm going to write 2 books. I'm going to write a lot of books.
You can write, I mean, like 30k is just the baseline goal, right? I mean, if you write more than 1,000 words every day, you can write, 170,000 words a year, 240,000 words a year, right? Like you can write so much by having a dedicated community that pushes you to keep writing. And that's what we're here for. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story that's worth telling, and everybody deserves to be able to tell that story. So we are here to help you find the people to push you to keep writing that story.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you guys so much for all that you do for the community. And thank you so much for showing up on this podcast and just giving all your advice. And I mean, people are going to just eat it up. We need people like you, and what you do is amazing. And I'm so excited for 3030. It's
Thank
going to
you.
be an epic thing. And I know you guys are going to take off. And I'm glad you guys are taking over where NaNoWriMo left off and even better. So looking forward to it. But
Perfect.
thank
Thanks,
you
Sarah.
so much. Thank you again for coming on, and you guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
You too.
We'll see you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.